Okay. So there we go. So yeah, you're combining like terms vertically. We're doing 6-3 solving systems using elimination. When you combine vertically, you're just combining like terms. So if I think about here, 6x and 2x, 6x plus 2x is 8x. So I get 8x, 5y minus 5y just cancels. And then when I look over here at 17 and negative 9, right? Negative and minus are the same thing. So I'm just thinking 17 minus 9, which is 8. So just to review, because that always confuses students kind of right off the bat, 2x plus 6x is 8x. And then over here, I'm just thinking 17 minus 9 is 8. Okay, then to solve for x, all I got to do is divide by 8. And we get x equals 1. Okay, I'm going to erase my little cross off of the equation so I can see the equations again. And I have to take this value of x right here, and I got to plug it into one of the two equations. So give me like thumbs up or thumbs down which equation you think is the easier of the two equations to plug into. Cole already has an opinion, Dawson does as well. If you have her camera off, oh well. Okay, so a lot of people are saying up. So Charlotte, why did you think it was easier to plug into the top equation? I agree. Oh, I can't hear you. They're all positive numbers, is that what you said? Nod your head? That's what you should have said, so nod your head anyways. Yes, yes, they're all positive numbers, right? It's just easier if you have positive numbers to plug stuff in. You could plug into the bottom equation, it totally doesn't matter, right? But the top equation is all positives. That's why I would choose to plug it in there. So we're going 2 times the quantity 1 plus 5y equals 17. And I'm going to take that 1 we had highlighted before and plug it in instead of that x. So I just plug that 1 in right there. So that's why I still have the 2 here. So it's 2 times 1, right? I know 2 times 1 is 2, so I'm not going to write another step here. That's kind of silly, right? We could just start out by subtracting 2 from both sides. So we get 5y equals, so I'm always thinking as I'm doing a problem, right, to see if I'm going to get whole numbers or not. So I'm thinking in my head already, before I even do it, that's going to be 15, and then is 15 divisible by 5. So that's like a really quick thing that goes through my head. I recommend, as I've told you before, to always do that, right? Know that you can also end up with fractions here. So don't freak out if you get a fraction, just double check your work, make sure you did it correctly, look at the solutions to make sure you did it correctly, and you're probably good. So we are going to divide both sides by 5, and we get y equals 3. So as an ordered pair, your answer is 1, 3. Remember, always order pairs go in XY alphabetical order. So I'm not going to make you do a check step, but I'm just going to kind of talk about the check step. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to do the check step on this first one, and I'm just going to kind of talk you through it with the remaining problems. So I'm going to plug in 1 for x and 3 for y. I'm again going to choose the equation that has all positive numbers up here. So 2x plus 5y equals 17. I'm just going to write the original equation first. And then I'm going to plug in this 1 for the x right here. I'm going to plug in this 3 for the y right here. Okay, so organized use of color is the most powerful memory strategy, because I know many of you have had that moment in my class where you've gone back, like you thought you understood the material, and you go back and you look at your notes and you're like, how the heck did that happen? How did you do that? So if you do things like highlight, then you can tell where the 1 went, and it'll just make more sense when you go back and look at your notes. And if you are not using your notes when you do your homework, start using your notes when you do your homework. Just makes it so much easier, okay? Oh, by the way, did you guys like my new picture on Schoology? Yeah, right? I had no problem making myself look like an idiot. And that was a moment last spring when I went to reload my coffee or go to the bathroom or something. I had 4 freshmen in it, and I came back and they all had weird hats on. And I was like, I got you all beat. And I did. I won. So there's that. So we're going to plug in the 1 where the purple is and the 3 where the green is. So we have 2 times quantity 1 plus 5 times quantity 3 equals 17. And again, I'm going to keep that same highlight so you can see where these numbers are coming from and where they're being plugged in. Just helps you to make sense of this stuff. So we get 2 plus 15 is 2 plus 15, 17. Nod your head yes or shake your head no. Yeah. Don't make your head fall off, Lauren. So that would be a check. It works. Okay? So again, you don't have to do this. What I normally do is just kind of think through this process and make sure. And then if I don't get the same answer, I might actually plug it in. And the only time I would actually do that as a student in my own class would be when I'm taking a quiz. So tomorrow when you take a quiz, I highly recommend you do the check step. I'm not going to force you to do it, right? The benefit is you know you got the problem right, and it builds your confidence, as opposed to having doubts. Your confidence slowly creeps down, right? How many people have taken a math test or any other test and not known how to do the first problem? Raise your hand if that's the case. You took a math or any other science test or whatever, didn't know how to do the first problem? Is that not the worst feeling ever? Right? It just makes you want to start crying or freak out and run from the classroom. But the strategy to help with that is when you're doing, if you don't know how to do the first problem, go to the second one. And then if you don't know how to do that one, go to the third. And if you don't know how to do the first 3, you're probably going to fail, right? You just accept it. You haven't prepared enough, so prepare more. That's all. Next problem. So as you look at these 2 equations, which cancels automatically, the x or the y? You could show me an x like this or a y like this. Yeah, I love the aggressiveness. Now, it's not a touchdown, Santiago. Why? There you go. Straighten those arms. Really? Your elbows are that bad, huh? You can't even straighten your arms? What is he doing? He's like, you're making a W or something. I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, I can't hear him, so it's all good. Okay, so yes, the y's cancel. That's correct, despite Santiago being weird. I wonder why I can't hear any of you guys. Let me just see. I'm just going to check the lead here. That should be good. I bet you that's why I had the volume down. Okay. Good. Yes, I know I'm presenting to everybody. All right, somebody say something.
Just want to stay at top Y and see it.
Nice. Nice. You even got a little song. That'll be on the video. That's just beautiful. I love that. Okay, you know what? This is the same problem. We're not doing this. I just remember from last period. So you got this one. I'll give you a sec to write that one down. Santiago, are you going to sing too? He's like, hell no. That's good. We didn't want to hear that anyway, so you hurt our ears. You already break the camera as it is. I mean, come on. You can mute your mic in case you're paranoid. We don't want to hear you fart. Okay, I'm going to rewrite the equations as well, just because I want to write them bigger. Okay, so yes, the y's do cancel. So some of you love aggressively crossing those out. If you're one of those people, aggressively cross them out. It'll make you feel better. Now we're going to combine like terms vertically. So we're just adding 5x and 3x to get 8x. Now, instead of thinking about this one like negative 32 plus 48, I think of it as 48 minus 32, which is 16. And again, to get you into that habit of thinking along the way as you do these problems, focus, Megan. I want you to think about, is 16 divisible by 8, like when you're at this step right here? Because then you know you get a whole number, and if you get a whole number, you definitely did it right. If you get a fraction, you might want to just double check your math. You can look at the solutions, but on a quiz you won't have those. So here we end up with x equals 2. And if I'm looking at the top or bottom equation, show me, like I said before, thumbs up, thumbs down. Should I plug it into the top or bottom equation? Santiago had no idea, I can tell. Good job, yes. We want to plug into the bottom equation. Why? Because they're all positive numbers. Can you plug into the top equation and have it still work? Yeah, it's okay, right? So if you're like Santiago and we're too nervous to answer, you can plug into either one. It's just easier to plug into the bottom one. So we're going to go 3 times 2. So if you are confuzzled and didn't know where that 2 came from right there, what x equals. So 3 times 2 plus 6y equals 48. I did not have the chat open, so let me do that real quick because I saw something flash by. Thing is going slow. No worries, ours is already gone. Okay, so let's finish this off. Again, you could do 3 times 2 is 6 and rewrite that whole thing down here, but don't do that. Just subtract 6 from both sides. Makes it easier. Then we get 6y equals 42. And then all we got to do is divide both sides by 6. So you get y equals 7. So we got 2 for x. We got 7 for y. I already have the 2 plugged in here. So I'm just going to think about plugging the 7 in here. So 6 times 7 is 42, plus the 6 from over here. 6 plus 42 does equal 48. Okay? So I just did that check step in my head. Now if I did that check step in my head and got something other than 48 over here, then I'm going to actually plug it in and double check that I did it correctly. Any questions on this problem?
I have a question.
Go for it, Charlotte.
Oh, could you do the other equation, like the 5x minus
Yes.
y? Like, could you plug it into that one instead?
Yep. You can plug it in. You could get rid of, just in general, you can get rid of x or y, doesn't matter which. You can plug it into either equation, doesn't matter which. We're going to be multiplying equations eventually here, so you'll see how that works in, I think, the next problem we start multiplying stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right, yes, I was correct. This is the equation where we are multiplying stuff. So I'm going to rewrite these two equations bigger. So in these two equations, a system of equations, remember all systems means is two of them. In the system of equations, if I try to get rid of x here, I'd have to multiply both equations. Like I could end up with negative 14 in the top, positive 14 in the bottom, by multiplying the top by 7 and the bottom by 2. But if I instead get rid of the y's here, that's way better, right? Because I can just multiply one of the two equations. So somebody tell me which equation, top or bottom, and then what you're going to multiply by. So you can show both that with, you got two hands, right? So you can go multiply top equation by 2 or something like that. Okay, so top or bottom, and what are you going to multiply by? Austin's like, I kind of know, but I'm not sure. So top by 2, bottom by 3. That's correct, Elise. Good job. So bottom equation by 3. So let's just think about that. Okay? So if I multiply this negative 5 by 3, I get negative 15. And if I have positive 15 up here, negative 15 down here, they're going to cancel. Okay? So the way I'm going to show it is like this. So when I distribute, I'm going to make sure that I multiply all three parts of that bottom equation. So the most commonly forgotten thing is to multiply it by this across the equal sign here. Okay, so just make sure you multiply all three parts, because I see freshmen make that mistake all the time. The other mistake I see freshmen make is they're just simply too lazy to rewrite this top equation. So they only multiply the bottom equation, write it down here, and they get confused when they're canceling stuff. So just please don't be lazy. Rewrite the top equation first. And then we're going to rewrite that bottom equation down here. So I do 3 times 7, which is 21x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15y. And then 3 times 17 is 51. And then you combine like terms vertically. So the question I often get from students, because none of you are asking me questions right now, and I have last period fresh in my mind. So the question somebody asked in last period is, how do you know whether you add or subtract? All you got to do is do what the signs tell you to do. So negative 2 plus 21. So I say plus 21 because the 21 is positive. So negative 2 plus 21, or think of it like 21 minus 2. 21 minus 2 is 19x. 15y and negative 15y cancel. And then 15, that was a dyslexic moment right there. 51 minus 32 is 19. So I get 19x equals 19, and then all I got to do is divide both sides by 19, and I get x equals 1. So again, I really encourage you to use colors as you take notes, especially to separate the steps, because then it's real easy to tell what steps you've taken to solve the problem when you go back and look at it as you're doing your homework. So if I look at the two original equations up here, they both have negatives. So I can plug into either equation. First one that tells me top or bottom, that's what I'll plug it into. So top or bottom. Isocol will go bottom. So we're going to plug this one in for this x right here. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this equation, 7x minus 5y equals 17, 7x minus 5y equals 17. I'm just drawing lines to kind of separate the big things that I'm doing. So 7x minus 5y equals 17. So I'm just doing that off my memory. I'm going to go scroll back up and make sure that I wrote the equation correctly. 7x minus 5y equals 17. You just want to be careful and deliberate as you do these problems, because if it goes wrong, you got to erase everything and start over, and it's just annoying. Okay? So I'm going to take this one right here and plug it in for this x right there, and then solve for y. So it's 7 times quantity 1 minus 5y equals 17. So again, where did that 1 came from? You can see the path right there, okay? So 7 times 1 is 7. I'm not going to do that because you know 7 times 1 is 7. What I'm going to do is just subtract 7 from both sides. And again, I'm thinking along the way as I'm doing this problem always. I'm looking at the number in front of y, which is negative 5, and thinking about, am I going to be able to divide it equally? The answer is yes, because what I get is negative 5y equals 10, and negative 5 divides into 10. So divide both sides by negative 5, and we get y equals negative 2. Written as an ordered pair, your answer is 1 comma negative 2. So again, I'm just going to kind of talk out how this works to make sure I don't screw it up. So I already have the 1 plugged in here. 7 times 1 is 7. Negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. 7 plus 10 is 17. So I know I did the problem correct. Again, instead of like having that experience of getting the first problem incorrect on a test, you plug it in and you know you got that problem correct, and then your confidence goes up and up and up. Always a bonus. So that's, right, so the first type of problem we did where things just cancel automatic. Second kind of problem we did is where we're just multiplying one of the two equations. Third kind of problem we're going to do is when you have to multiply both equations. We're going to have one practice, though, where you have to multiply one equation. So I just want to kind of guide you in the very first step, because it just makes it easier if we do it the same way, because then when I do it, you can check your work. So we're going to get rid of y's. I want you to think, use your hand, you can show me, what do you have to multiply that top equation by to make the y's cancel? Three is correct. So we are going to multiply the top equation by 3. And then once you solve, right, so that's going to make the y's cancel. When you solve for x, I want you to plug into the bottom equation, because then you guys will do it the same way I'm going to do it, and you can double check your steps. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. What I'm going to do is try to do that Jamboard thing again. It worked for third period, and you can write your answers in there. The Jamboard will show up in the chat, and we hope to hell it'll work. I'll have to change your permissions. Once it lets me, it loads super slow. And I'll shut up now so you can do your math. Right, so you're getting rid of y's. You're going to plug into the bottom equation once you solve. You should see the jam appear in the chat. So just click on that link and that'll show me that you've joined. No. I think we're good. Is it not letting you click on the link? Give me a yes or no. Jackson joined, so that's good. You can get in. Go to the chat and hit that thing. Jackson thinks no soul. You can click on the little sticky note thing and then you can type. It says, sorry, sharing is unavailable at this time, but it's still good. People are getting in. That does not look like fun erasing that. The answer is not no solution, by the way. Give me both x and y. Don't assume Elise is correct either. I have no idea. I haven't done the problem yet. Well, I have. I did it last period, but I don't remember what the answer is. So, sure, you made my no soul cricket. That's not very nice. Okay, throw those answers in the jam. You can click on the little sticky note looking thing above the mountains below the arrow. Write it in there. X equals 1/2. It's not a fraction. Give me, you could write it as an order pair or say x equals and then y equals, just so you know. Was that a question, Shannon? Okay. Who's lost? I wonder if I'm sure I can see who that is somehow.
It's me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it in a sec, so don't worry if you're convulsive. We got a whole bunch of different, well, some different answers. -2, +2, 1, 2. Elise thought -1, +2. I need more answers. -1, 2. Wow, we got a whole, that's the second one of those. Yeah, you can move it around in case it puts it right over somebody else's answer. Whoever just wrote no soul, you had a moment. It's gone. More people. 1.2, 1.6, huh? All right. Give me some, like, wave your arms frantically if you need more time. Santiago's having some internet issues. Is your Wi-Fi crappy at home? Santiago has not answered. 0.5, 1.25, it's not a decimal. I'll give people just, who needs more time? Anyone need more time? Raise your hand if you do. What is that muting on your lap, Cole? Aw, it's cute after all. 1 question mark. 1 for what? You have 1 head, yes, that's correct. If you had 1 nostril, that might be difficult. What's your dog's name, Cole? If you're confused, don't worry, I'm going to go over it. The dog followed Mama out of the room. Your dog likes the mom better, doesn't it? Gotcha. All right, can I start doing it? Yeah. All right, I'm going to start doing it. So remember, like, I'm good at explaining, right? So you may think you know what's going on. Lucy. Oh, you're dead. Like, oh, funny. Your dogs are gender specific as far as which gender they like. That's funny. Okay, I'm going to start doing this thing. Let me just close this. I'm going to clear it. Close it off. Or actually, I'm going to leave it up in case I want to do it again. All right, so I'm going to multiply that top equation by 3. I get negative 15x minus 6y equals 18. And then I get 3x plus 6y equals 6. Then I'm going to combine like terms vertically. So negative 15 plus 3 is negative 12x. The y's cancel. 18 plus 6 is 24. Then I just divide both sides by negative 12. And I get x equals negative 2. Give me a thumbs up if you got negative 2 for x. Good job, good job, good job. Okay, if you didn't, if you don't mind unmuting your mic and tell me where it went wrong, like did you mess up with the negative, right? We got a safe environment here. It's okay if you're confused and didn't get it at first. That's why we're doing the practice and the lesson. So what went wrong, if it went wrong, is my question. Somebody unmute, be brief. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so I multiplied 3 times negative 5 and I got 15. But then I don't know, I got like 21 instead of 18. And then, yeah, I just really confused myself.
Yeah. So how do you fix that issue, right? What I always like to do, especially when I was at your age in an Algebra 1 class, I would think in my head what the answer was and I would double check in a calculator, because then you'll catch those little mistakes in the moment. And like if you multiply something incorrectly, the whole thing just blows up. So we got x equals negative 2. I'm going to plug that negative 2 right here for that x right there. I always like drawing lines to separate things. It makes it easier for me when I grade your stuff as well. And we're going to take this equation and rewrite it right here, plugging in that -2. So we get 3 times the quantity, -2, plus 6y equals 6. So that -2, right? That's why it's handy to use the highlighter, because where did it come from? Came from right here. We plugged it in for the x right here. Just makes it crystal clear where you're plugging stuff in. So we're going to finish off this problem here. 3 times -2 is -6, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Right? We're always doing the opposite operation. So we get 6y, these cancel. That looks like an x, let me fix that. 6y equals 12. We divide both sides by 6, and we get y equals 2. So our answer is -2, 2. Give me a thumbs up if you got them both right. Good job, Shannon. Yeah, nice. Maddie and Austin, good. All right, any questions from those that didn't get it right? Write your final answer as an ordered pair, -2, +2, and you're done. Again, we can think about plugging it in. You don't have to do it. But we already have the -2 here, so that's -6 plus 6 times 2 is 12. -6 plus 12 is 6. So again, if your brain doesn't work like that, just show the work in plugging it in, and you only really need to do it on the quiz, which you have tomorrow after the homework. We'll have just a little bit more of this stuff to teach you tomorrow. Then you have a bunch of work time with homework. So you should be able to finish everything before class is over. And you can start working on missing assignments if you have any. Next one. So write these two down. Don't write the helpful hint right below it. Kind of write that thing off to the side here. But write these two equations down. This, as you can see up top, is where we're going to have to multiply both equations. So I'm going to rewrite the equations on the left here a little bit bigger. And we're going to decide together whether we're going to get rid of x or y. My helpful hint says always have one positive and one negative variable. It just makes it easier to cancel. So when you check I forgot to mention this last period, I'm glad I remember for this period. In the solutions, they always subtract the two equations. That is not, in my opinion, the best way to do this. I like having opposite signs when I'm getting rid of a variable, because then all I got to do is combine like terms vertically. So don't let the solutions confuse you because they're going to subtract. So what do you want to get rid of, x or y? Again, you can show me x or y like this. Or if you have tiny little arms, you can show it like that. What do you want to get rid of, x or y? That's a good pterodactyl imitation there, Lauren. I knew you'd like that one. So I'm going to get rid of y's because it's smaller. That's all. Doesn't matter at all. That's correct as well. Or you could do either. Smaller numbers, easier to multiply. That's a very slight reason, but you know, whatever. I could get rid of either. Totally doesn't matter. We're going to try to get rid of y's. So to get rid of these, we're going to review this concept you did in middle school. Anyone remember what an LCM is? You can shake your head yes or no. LCM, least common multiple. Have you heard that before? You are shaking your head yes, because you all have. So we're just going to look at the 2 here and the 3 down here, and we're going to list multiples until we get the same number. That's the whole point. So we're going to put the 2 here and the 3 over here. We're going to think about 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and we have the same number. So we're going to multiply the 3, because we have 2 numbers here, we're going to multiply the 3 by 2. Because we have 3 numbers over here, we're going to multiply the 2 by 3. So you may or may not understand that. I'm going to show you an easier way because I always like doing that. So if I get confused about what I'm going to multiply by, this way always works. Sometimes you'll end up with giant numbers, but it always works nonetheless. So see, I have a 3 down here. I'm going to multiply by a 3 up top. See how I have a 2 up top? I'm going to multiply by 2 on the bottom. Okay? Now, my helpful hint here says always have 1 positive and 1 negative variable. So I can just randomly pick, it totally doesn't matter which one I make negative. Because I have the green pen up here, I'm just going to make the 2 negative. Okay, I'm going to multiply the top equation. Let's not do it like that. Top equation, I'll write it in blue, why not? 9x plus 6y equals 3. And then I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by negative 2, write it in green. So negative 8x minus 6y equals 4. Again, I'm always thinking along the way to make sure I did it correctly. So all I do is combine like terms vertically. The y's cancel. 9x minus 8x is just x. You can write 1x. It doesn't matter if you write the 1. 1 times x is still x. 3 plus 4 is 7. The top equation does not have any negatives, so I'm going to take the top equation here and plug in this 7. So I'm going to again draw a little dividing line so I can keep stuff straight. So we did that little nugget of information there. I'm going to plug into the top equation. So we have 3 times the quantity 7 plus 2y equals 1. So where did that 7 come from? It came from right here. So 3 times 7 is 21 plus 2y equals 1. Then I'm just going to solve for y. I'm going to solve for y by subtracting 21 from both sides. So again, I guarantee some of you are like, what on earth is happening? Come to access time if you feel like that. I will help you. Realize as well that we're going to spend another day on this tomorrow. So if you need to extensively use the solutions to help you figure this out, you can. Just remember the solutions always subtract the equations, so they do it differently than I do. You should be able to figure it out regardless. The 21s cancel. We have 2y equals 1 minus 21 is negative 20. Then I'm just going to divide both sides by 2. And we get y equals negative 10. So my
How did you
final...
get 7 as x?
What's that?
How did you get 7 as x?
I got 7 as x because I just did 9x minus 8x, and I did 3 plus 4 is 7. So 9x minus 8x is 1x, 3 plus 4 is 7. That's how I got it.
I didn't know that 8 was a negative and I added it and I was really confused.
Oh yeah, that would be super confusing for sure. Right, because we had -2 times +4, that's where that -8 came from. Okay, good, please keep asking questions if you need to. As an ordered pair, your final answer is 7, -10. I just had to write it weird because I'm weird. Weird in a good way, weird. Okay, so it's 7, -10. Again, you can plug it in to double check your answers. We're going to do one more of these. That's the last problem, just to kind of solidify this in your brain a little more. And again, so if you're totally confused, I want you to have faith in yourself that you're going to understand. That's most important. And then faith in me, secondly. If you don't get it, come to access time. I will explain it until you get it. Okay? So one more of these. Now, do you guys want to try this on your own for a minute or two, or just have me go through it? Doesn't matter to me which way. Somebody unmute and tell me. Do you want to try it on your own or have me do it? Shay's like, you. Anybody else have an opinion? All right, Shay wins. All right, cool. Yeah, if you don't want to hear, just mute, like turn your volume down, do it on your own, and then put it back up, or look away from the screen and put it back up. So remember, you have to have one positive and one negative sign. My y's already have one positive and one negative sign, so I'm going to get rid of the y's. So I just look down here, I see a -2 in front of the y. I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2. I see a 3 in front of the y on the top equation, so I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 3, right? So just realize that. I got a 3 up here, multiply by 3. I got a 2 down here, multiply by 2 up there. I already have opposite signs, so I don't have to worry about multiplying one negative, one positive, because I already have one negative, one positive. I'm going to rewrite both equations. I'll do the same thing in blue. So we get 8x plus 6y equals -38. On the bottom equation in green, 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times -2 is -6y. 3 times -10 is -30. Okay, any questions about that first step? Because some people get lost in that first step. Shay, what do you got? I can't really hear. There you go. Now you're good.
Okay. So like, how did you get like at like the first the first step? How did you get like
This part up here? Or I could do it with my pen. You can probably see it better on the big screen. How did I know what to multiply by here? Okay. So all I do is I look here. I got the 2 from right here. So I look at the bottom equation and multiply that top equation by 2. I look at the top equation here, I multiply by 3. So if I wanted to get rid of x's, right, I've multiplied the top equation by 3, the bottom equation by 4.
Oh, okay.
So you just like switch them, basically. Just make sure you have negative-positive relationship. And if you don't, you just choose one to make negative. It totally doesn't matter which. I'm just going to erase the little stray marks so it doesn't confuse people. Now we're going to combine like terms vertically. So 8x plus 9x is 17x. 6y and -6y cancel. When you are subtracting two negatives, add the numbers, keep the sign. So -38 minus 30 is -68. So if you were taking a test or a quiz, you would look at this and go, oh my God, does 17 divide into 68? I sure as hell hope so, right? Yes, it does. It goes in 4 times. So we are going to divide both sides by 17. That's why it's always a bonus to have a calculator on hand. So x equals -4. Any questions about that step? We good? Okay. So again, I'm going to draw that kind of dividing line to separate my steps. We're going to take this -4 and I have to choose which equation to plug it into. Totally doesn't matter. I mean, there's one less negative in the top equation. Numbers are smaller in the bottom equation, so whatever. Show me with your hand, top or bottom equation. What do you want me to plug it into? Top was the first one I saw, top it is. So we're going to take this -4 right here and plug it in for this x right up there. It looks like this. So 4 times -4 plus 3y equals -19. So I'll give you a sec to write that down. 4 times -4, -16 plus 3y equals -19. So again, you can cover up the variable and add 16 to both sides. So this -16 and +16 cancel. Bring down that 3y from the left side of the equal sign. -19 plus 16 is -3. So you should know yourself by now. If you struggle with negatives, always have a calculator, right? You could use your phone. If you're in my class, you cannot use your phone. You have to use a calculator. But just make sure, because you're multiplying so many things in these problems, it's really easy to make a careless error. So just as I told you kind of at the beginning of class, just go slow and deliberate. You only have 6 problems for homework, so take your time on it, right? Don't rush through. Make sure you get them correct, because you will understand a heck of a lot better when you do get them correct. So as an order of pair, 1 sec, we have -4, -1. Question?
Yeah, I did the bottom equation and I got a different answer.
Aha. Let all go to a new screen and plug it into the bottom equation and we'll see where it went wrong. You should get the same answer regardless of which equation you plug it into, just for general knowledge. So we're going to take that -4 and we're going to plug into the bottom equation. But first, does anyone need more time writing that down? Because I'll wait a sec if you do. Okay, I'll take that as a no. So bottom equation, we have 3x minus 2y equals -10. Just copy that sucker to a new page. And we'll plug in x equals -4. So that's going to go in here for that x. So we have 3 times -4 minus 2y.
I think I know why I got it wrong.
That was quick. What did you do?
I didn't know, I didn't put it as a negative, I just put it.
Oh, yeah. So just, again, slow and careful so we make sure. And I'll just finish it off because I'm a math teacher, I kind of have to. So we get -12 minus 2y equals -10. So remember I say you guys make mistakes with the negatives. So we got a ton of negatives. So just be careful. Add 12 to both sides. It's not like it's that hard, but you know yourself better than I do, so just, you can decide. I'm going to bring down the -2y. 12 minus 10 is 2. Divide by -2. y equals -1, just like we got on the other example. Right, so we got -1 regardless of which equation we plugged it into. Any questions on this one? That's it? I'm going to turn off the recording unless you got some more questions. All right, so give me 1 sec here.